Hello, welcome to another video where I talk about a painting that I've previously done. And I had some questions in the YouTube comments about some of my materials, and I'll get to that in this video. So if you want to know paper and gesso, that's coming up in a moment. But first thing I want to address here is that darn grid. Okay, if you're watching well, of course you're watching the video. You're watching me, hopefully. Anyway. And you can see, let me pause this, that I'm drawing with a grid on my paper. And yes, people do this. People use projectors, people trace all the time. It is not cheating, okay? It is a decision of the artist to do what they want to do. If you don't like using a grid, if you don't like tracing, if you don't like projecting, don't do it. Now, I will say this, that the more that I do grid work, and this was, when did I do this painting? Oh my goodness, I need to look at my website. I did it last year in December. At that point, I was still using grids, especially for certain things where I'm like, oh, I'm not very confident in painting the head or something like that. And it worked out fine. You know, I was able to paint, over this, and you'll see within the painting that I basically obliterated most of the drawing that I did. So there's always going to be drawing while you're painting. And I will say this, that the more you trace, the more you do a grid, the more that you project, and you don't practice actually translating what you're seeing onto the page without any help, the more that you get further away from that ability to actually do that without those tools. I won't even call them crutches. I know a lot of people say, oh, it's a crutch to do this or a crutch to do that. And, it can be if you use it too much. If you can't draw anything because, you're not able, you can't trace it or something like that. Or if you feel like, oh, I won't do a good drawing unless I trace or use a grid or project. Once you get to that point, and I was at that point, I was like, okay, I need to stop doing this. I really need to stop doing grids or anything like that because I never traced. I stopped tracing and all that. And the other reason why I did it is because I wanted more of me in my artwork. And if part of the drawing is incorrect, quote unquote incorrect, whatever that means, right? If it's a little bit off, that's part of how I saw it. And I'm okay with that, and I'm okay with sitting there working hard to try and get things back in place if it's really irking me in some way, like if I didn't want it. So I just wanted to address that. I totally used it in a lot of my older paintings, a lot of these recently small paintings. And the main reason here is because the head is tilted back. It's a very interesting angle, difficult angle to do. And I'm being really careful to keep the drawing, it looks like, in a lot of this. So maybe I didn't obliterate it completely. And then I had two hands in there. I wanted to get those hands correct. That was super important to get those correct. And it really depends on what your purpose of the painting is. If it's paramount that you get your drawing 100% on, and the painting will fail completely if that doesn't happen, maybe thinking about tracing, projecting, using a grid for a little bit of it could help you out tremendously, at least for the initial, because you're going to cover up all that drawing anyways, and you have to be able to draw while you're painting and always thinking about drawing while you're painting anyways. So there you go. That's all about the grid. Now, the other thing that I want to address, the questions in YouTube, is what paper do I use? And, I'm kind of all over the board in places, but I can give you some helpful tips on this, okay? I'm going to pause this video, and I want to see if I can make my image. I'm huge now. Wow, look how big I am. And I'm doing this because I want you to see this. So the paper I'm using at this moment is called Stonehenge. Oh my God, can you see that? Stonehenge oil paper. So this is a paper made by Stonehenge that you can use oil directly on. But the one thing I don't like is it's white. It's all white. Whenever you buy paper, it's nothing but white paper. And I like painting on gray. I really do. A mid-tone gray, either cool or warm. I don't really care the temperature of it. But the reason why I like painting on gray is because it's easier for me to understand value and color relationships and temperatures and things like that, because I've done it for so long. But if you paint on white with a white palette, it might be easier for you because you had a lot of training in it. That's the other thing. Just like drawing, training, you get better. And the other thing I want to point out in this painting, you can see I'm using a white palette. You know, it's kind of white. It's a bit dirty. Oh man, I should show you the palette and stuff that I'm using in this painting. I don't use it much anymore here. Right behind me, let me make my image larger again. Right behind me, I bought this, I think like antique drafting table kind of thing from Home Depot for like $185. It's pretty cheap and it's pretty sturdy. It's actually really nice. So I don't use the little easel and everything anymore, unless I am at life drawing or out somewhere. Then I use that small Pochade Box easel. It's a U.go Pochade Box, which is fantastic. I love the thing. I have to show you that. So anyway, that's the paper, but you don't have to use this paper, okay? I kind of destroy the whole aspect of it being oil paper by gessoing it gray. I mean, the purpose of this paper is that it was made to take oil directly onto it. If you do that, you'll be perfectly fine. It's not going to it'll be archival for however long, we don't know, right? But more than regular paper, okay? So you can paint your oil directly on it, but the one thing to know about that is it will soak up your oils like crazy. And it's actually got a nice effect to it, because I painted directly on the paper for several paintings, and it would soak a lot of the oil out of the painting and really turn everything kind of matte, and really got rid of a lot of the glare. So that was kind of nice. But you don't have to use this paper. You can use any paper. Honestly, I would suggest that you get a paper that is around 300 GSM. What does that mean, Chris? Or 140 pound. So this is 320 GSM, 140 pound. That's the thickness of the paper. The thicker, the better, okay? If you get like, what do you call it? Matte board. You know, if you go to like framing shops, they'll have all these center cuts of matte board. They'll probably sell you a pile of them for an inexpensive amount of money. Painting on matte board is really great too, because it's really thick. And why do I say that? Because if you gesso this paper, it's going to bow just a little bit because it's 300 GSM, and then you gesso both sides. That's actually another thing, is I gesso both sides of the paper, because if you gesso one side, it's going to bow into like a rainbow. It's going to be a wonderful rainbow that you can try and paint on. But if you gesso the other side as well, after the one side is dry, it'll flatten out a lot more. The thicker the paper, the better, because if you go to mount it on panels like I do for my paintings, I think in one of my previous videos, I showed you those panels. When you go to mount it, it's easier to mount, lays a lot flatter, doesn't ripple or anything like that. So higher GSM as possible. Years and years ago, I was doing a bunch of paintings on paper, and I would just go buy like the cheapest 300 GSM, 140 pound watercolor paper I could find. I would gesso it up and then sand it as well. Actually, I would buy a hot press watercolor paper, because the hot press are a lot flatter. The reason why is because I could gesso that. I wouldn't have to sand it a bunch to make it even more flat. Why flat? Because these are small paintings. That painting is probably 6 by 10, something like that. And when you're painting that small, if, like, let's say you're painting on a canvas and you have all that texture, you know, all the bumps and interstices within the canvas, that's all you're going to see when you take a picture of the painting, because you have all that texture, unless you're painting super thick. But even then, you'll see a bunch of texture. So on this paper, it's It's got a little bit of texture, so I gesso it. I sand it down 180 to 220 sanding paper or sandpaper, just one coat, and there you go. There's the surface that's prepared. What gesso do I use? So I use a combination of two gessos. I use, oh, wow, that's all just completely blown out. This gesso brand right here. What, you can't see it? Oh, there, oh, it's coming in. Let's see, I'll turn my light down. There you go. Golden gesso, yay. It's like the gesso you see at every art store. But honestly, I'd get the cheapest gesso you can. I've tried all kinds of different gessos, super expensive to super cheap, and I haven't really seen a problem with it. The one thing I will say, never, ever, ever buy house paint as gesso. I know you want to save some money. Don't do that. I did that once. I was like, oh, let me save some money. I'll get some house paint as gesso. It's the worst decision. That painting died before I even finished it. Like it literally fell off the canvas. It was crazy. It was like, okay, this is like house paint is not meant for painting on like this. It's not meant for it. Okay. It's not flexible. Okay. So a white gesso, and then I mix it with any other black gesso. This is our favorite Bob Ross. Yay. Afro Man. Afro, what the heck? Yeah, black gesso. You could get any cheap black gesso. You could also get like a black acrylic and add it into your gesso until you get like whatever gray mixture you like. If you want to repeat the gray that I work on, I like to get like a neutral gray. What is a neutral gray? Well, let me show you what a neutral gray is. As he walks away from the camera. This is a value scale. I know we all know about a value scale. Chris, you don't have to tell us about a value scale. Turn off your light so it's not too crazy. 10 to 0. This is the most neutral possible. I don't really care about temperature. I mean, if you really care about like needs to be warm or cool or right in the center, you can work really hard to get that perfect. But as long as it's around this area somewhere, maybe a little bit lighter on the value range, I'm happy with it. That's easy for me, but you don't have to go for gray, okay? Don't have to do that either. I've seen so many artists that put a ground down that is like an orange or some kind of crazy color, an ochre type color or an umber type color. Try different things, okay? Get a gesso, which is, you know, this is acrylic. Begin or bright white. Oh, I need my glasses. Oh, it sucks getting old sometimes. Look at that, my glasses. Bright. Wow, it's like being a kid again. It's so amazing. I just got glasses like, I don't know, a few weeks ago, and I forget to wear them all the time. But, you know, I'm sitting here, I can't see this. As soon as I put these on, I'm like, oh my God, I can see the whole world. I can see every little detail on this thing. I could read you the whole label and even the tiny type. That was impossible before. It's amazing. Anyway, bright white acrylic primer. It is acrylic, which means you can mix any kind of acrylic paint with it to tint it however you like, okay? Not oil paint, acrylic. Acrylic gesso, acrylic paint, mix them together, try some different grounds, have fun with it. Figure out what works for you. This is what I do. Don't copy, okay? We want more of you on this planet. We don't need a copy of me. You can try what I do and then figure out if it works for you, okay? Like if you're doing some crazy abstraction or whatever, maybe you don't need any kind of ground. Maybe you don't need paper. Maybe you need a wall. Maybe you need some carpet to paint on. Maybe, I don't know, figure it out. Anyway, do something fun for yourself. Oh, the one other thing I wanted to show you. I'll have to put, you know, I'm not going to link everything in the chat, and my camera decided to go all blurry. Can you fix yourself? Can you? Oh well, I'm just blurry. Just imagine me as like a Gerhard Richter painting. Okay. This is the Pochade Box. Oh, I need to make myself bigger again. Bigger, blurrier. Okay. This is the Pochade Box. It's from u.go. There it goes. Actually, it came in focus. u.go. Just go to that website. Type in u.go Pochade Box into Google. Find it yourself. You don't need links. You can do this. Oh, I cannot open this thing. The great thing about this is the spring. The spring on it is amazing. It's like, it takes all my strength. No, it doesn't take all my strength. It's really, the spring is really good because, and it doesn't flop around. I had Pochade boxes before and everything, and they would not stay in place. But the great thing about it is you can get, this is glass. Oh, guys, paint on a glass palette. I'm telling you, a glass palette is like the best thing ever. It really, really is the best thing ever. It's just so easy to clean up and mix paint and everything. The only problem with it is you can see my face in there a little bit. It does have some glare. So there's a trade to it, okay? But anyway, you can put a palette in here. You can put different color palettes in here. I had a white one before, and look at this. This little thing comes off. The palette, it doesn't want to slide out right now because I haven't slid it out in a while. The palette slides out super nicely. You can clean it easier. Although I've never really slid it out to clean it. Okay, it's got one of those little connectors on the back right there so that you can get a tripod to put it on. Okay, just need one of those connectors. And these guys, it's so hard to show this and not hit the mic at the same time. How about this? So yeah, that's the way it's oriented. Oh, you can see myself in the glass. So this is the way, no. Here's how it's oriented when I'm painting, okay? I'm gonna put this right on my chin. Hopefully you can hear me. And these little things slide open, okay? Both of them slide here, open or closed to hook on whatever canvas or paper or board you have. I have a medium one, and honestly, you can get a pretty big size thing in this, but you know, there's a certain point where, you know, this will only go out so far, okay? I would say maybe 10 to 12 inches in width max, and then these come off. It's magnets in there. Those come off, and I've even used clips to kind of clip my painting on here if I needed to. And then you paint away, right? And close it up again. It's like a little laptop. This is the medium size one, not the large size. And guess what? It costs around $250, guys. It's worth it. I mean, it's really nice. I mean, it's quality work that they did on this thing. It's worth the $250. But I will say that this big table back here, oh, $185. $185, okay. But this is great for being super mobile. I take this to life drawing all the time, and people are like, oh, wow, what do you have there? And then I tell them $250, and they're like, no, it's okay. That's fine. Yeah. I could have probably done with something cheaper as well. Let's get back to this video. Okay, that was all about my materials. Thank you so much for asking. Asking. Oh my God. Thank you for asking those questions. I hope that's helpful. The paints let's keep going. The paints I'm using here, I think on this painting are Winton paints from the cheap student brand from Winsor Newton, and some Gamblin mixed in there. Actually, if you look right above me, you can see the Gamblin right there. So that's a Gamblin tube. So I was using Gamblin a lot. I've switched to M. Graham because it's cheaper than the student grade, and I like the texture of the paint. That seems to work perfectly for me. Yeah, try out paints. Have fun with different paints, okay? Don't just choose what I pick, you know? Go get a super expensive tube of paint and see if you like it, you know? Go get a super cheap tube of paint, see if you like it. See if you could tell the difference between the two. That's another thing, right? The brushes I use, as cheap as possible. Most of the brushes that you'll see within this are like a few cents a piece, because I bought like a pack of these for 12 bucks and there was like 50 brushes inside of it. It was crazy. Yeah, super, super cheap. And actually they're holding up really well. They're still sharp. And I'm like, man, I want some brushes that are kind of gnarly, a lot more gnarly brushes. So I think I'm gonna have to kind of smash them against something to actually make them splay out. Not talking too much about this painting right now, which I think is okay. Okay, because, but let's get into it right now. How much time do I have left on the painting? Oh, I still got another 4.5 minutes to talk. So, why the hell are you painting this, Chris? What is this weird photo? I mean, what is she doing? I love this idea of non-traditional subject matter. Not only just non-traditional, but part of our everyday lives. So this is actually a painting of my wife, and she's putting a cream on her face and actually on her neck. And so she's lifted her neck up to see in the mirror. And so I took a quick picture of her because I loved all of the stuff that was going on with the neck there and the position of the hands. Just gray in the background because it's, you know, bathroom walls, right? Just like no one would ever choose this to be like in a gallery or sell it or buy it or whatever. And I want to change that, you know? I mean, honestly, there's a lot of personal information that goes in with this painting. You know, the purpose behind it. I won't go into it because it's personal, right? But there's a lot of personal stuff within it. You know, and I find that within all these personal photos we take of ourselves, right? And I think if you look at maybe your phone or, you know, wherever you back up, hopefully you back up all your photos somewhere, and scroll back through them. Look at your life. Find the weirdness within it and find those connections. Like you'll look at these photos and you go, this is not a painting, right? We won't see it in some famous gallery or museum. We won't see that. What we'll see is Vermeer and some lady emptying out a basin or with a pearl earring, or we'll see a Rembrandt of some lady bathing or something like that. We go, oh, that's classical, amazing painting, blah, blah, blah. That's everyday life for them. That was their lives, right? But no, we don't like to paint that now because we look back in history, we think, no, it has to be like, you know, made up. She should have like a period dress on. It looks like she's from the 1800s or the 1600s or something like that. Then it's worthy. No, 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 no. Look back at your life. Look at all your photos and find a photo that is strange, you think is odd. And then why did you take that photo? What connection do you have with that? You know, so many times I'll look back and there are these moments in our photos. We have tens of thousands of them. You know, we've been married for like 25 years, right? So, and we'll look back and I'm like, this is such an important moment. Shitty picture, terrible picture, but such an important moment because it showed us at a certain place in a certain time with a specific thing that we want to remember because it was really important to us, right? Think about that. Think about like how important those photos are to you, that if you lost them, how devastating that could be. Like, we lost a lot of photos years and years and years ago. One of our hard drives, my hard drives died. And after that, I was like, everything's backed up constantly, right? Luckily today, it's a lot easier to do that. But this is a photo that is very important to me. Doesn't really make a traditional, painting. It won't be in like some big gallery somewhere. Maybe someone will never buy it, but it's super important to me. This is my life at that point in time, not too long ago. December, okay? It's an important time. So yeah, non-traditional photos. Try it. Paint your life. Paint you. Figure out who you are within your artwork. Not just the materials of it and what works for you, but also like you and your life and your family and things that are close to you. Who are you? I want more of you on this planet, not more of me. There's already enough of me, okay? Do you. So you can see these close-ups in the painting. I really love how I simplified I'm like tooting my own horn here, sorry. I really like how I simplified the hands. I mean, does it need more than that? No, it doesn't. The simplification on the face. I love when you look at the figure in real life, sometimes in photos, and you can see all these greens and yellows and grays and blues, because under our skin, well, at least the Caucasian skin, right? I can see those colors in specific light, right? I can see a lot of that, especially you look at older individuals, older Caucasian individuals, older Black individuals, Hispanic, every race out there. You look at the interest in just the hand itself, and it's not just one perfectly gradation of color, right? It's not a model magazine, on the cover of like Vogue or something where, there's tons of makeup and it's just one tone all the way across. I mean, if you go into a department store and you look at a mannequin, actually most of the mannequins today, they don't have, skin tone colors on them anymore. They're like gray or whatever. But back in the day when they did, all Caucasian mannequins, right? And let's leave that there, okay? It would be all one tone, right? It would just be spray paint, straight across. But humans are not like that. It's skin stretched over bone, veins, muscle, sinew. You got blackheads. You got like, I don't know, some food on you or something like that. You were bruised. You got a little bit of a sunburn. That's me. I mean, I'm a wreck, right? And I want to paint that wreck, okay? I want to grab those colors in there. So I really liked how a lot of the greens I got on her face in some places. Is it flattering? No, probably not. If I wanted this painting to be flattering, I'd ask a photographer for Vogue how they smoothed out everything and made it look mannequin-like, right? That Sears and Roebuck photo. Yeah, I don't want that. I don't want that. I want real life. I want everything that's going on here. Anyway, I'm talking a lot. Always talk a lot. Chris, you and your talking. I'm going to turn off that. Oh my goodness. And then go here. So this is my website. I actually recently changed my website. I'm still talking more. Oh my God. You can turn it off now. I'm done with talking about the painting. I recently changed my website. So if you actually want to buy this painting, it's on my website, chrisbevan.com. Actually, I just installed a new shop on my WordPress install. You'll see all the latest paintings I have there. Plug, shameless plug. Oh no, darn it. The YouTube guy is trying to sell me something. Hey, I'm sorry. I'm just trying to make it as an artist. Oh, let's start the video over again. I can talk about it again. Right now, I'm kidding. Where'd it go? Let's fast forward to the end. There we go. Okay. thanks for watching this video. Thanks for listen to me ramble. Again, Stonehenge oil paper. You can use Arches oil paper. You can use Arches watercolor paper. Just make sure you gesso it, that kind of stuff, you know, 300 GSM, 140 pound, any kind of cheap gesso. Tone it however you want. Make it white, make it gray, make it orange, make it black, make it whatever you want. Figure it out. If you have any questions, I'm on YouTube. Put it in the comments. Thanks for watching the video. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.